Advanced Studio Classroom is on the air. How long does it take you to come up with a solution to a problem? Hi everyone, welcome to Advanced Studio Classroom. And it is already March 1st. It's kind of hard to believe. But we have a great article for you today on our book and our speed review called Sprint. And I have a couple of great panelists with me in our studio today to help discuss this.
Hi everyone, I'm Linda C. and I'm very happy to be here today.
And I'm Simon. I'm also happy to be here, but I'm also excited about discussing this book because I think even though a lot of the solutions it offers are probably pretty common sense, especially for people who are problem-solving people, I think this book gives you a way to focus on how to use the skills you might already have. And so I think that's very useful and exciting.
And I'm Linda also. Linda L. And I thought this article was very interesting, and especially for people in business, it really gives you a new perspective so you don't, end up having endless debates about a topic. And this is dealing really with customers' problems and how to help them and how to help your company solve them.
We were talking about that actually just before we got on the air here, how this introduction could be a little misleading or confusing if you read it in the wrong way, because it tells us here that this is a new method for solving your customers' problems in just 5 days. And some of us thought that maybe what that means is you're helping your customers solving their problems, their complaints, responding to things like that. But that's not really what it is. Really what we're talking about is improving our own products so that our products can better help our customers and not cause problems for our customers.
And also I want to point out to everyone that this customers is plural. So it's not just one customer. It's dealing with a range or a broader perspective than just talking about one person's problems.
Yeah, and I guess that makes sense, especially if you're a person who is in business. Business people tend to know that your customers' problems are always your problems too, right? So solving problems is something that helps both you and your customers.
Well, I think we can use this on a wide range of situations outside of business as well. So let's take a look at it. If you have your Advanced magazine, let's read in the left-hand column on page 10. And if you have your digital device, you might want to turn to this article, Sprint.
Sprint, a new method for solving your customers' problems in just 5 days. In a new book, Sprint, Google veteran Jake Knapp and his Google Ventures co-authors John Zeratsky and Braden Cowitz insist that it is possible to focus on a problem, consider different solutions, choose one, prototype the solution, and test it on customers in just 5 days. The Sprint process, as it is called, has been applied hundreds of times for companies in which Google's venture capital arm has invested. Sprint offers a detailed step-by-step guide to successful sprints.
So first of all, I want to point out that this is a book review, and this book has been on the New York Times and Wall Street Journal's bestseller list for some time now. And we notice that this is coming out of Google Venture.
Yeah, and since it is from Google, it must be correct because they are slowly taking over the world of business. So we would be wise to listen carefully.
So if it says they're a Google veteran, what does that mean?
He's been here at Google for a long time.
Okay, and we see that there are a couple of, there's Jake Knapp and his Google Ventures. Okay, so let's just talk about these terms. What is Google Ventures?
Well, I think the term they're using now is actually GV, which of course means Google Ventures. The idea there, venture, it's actually the root word in the word adventure. So the idea is you're doing something, a project that might be a little risky, might be a little exciting. And basically what this means is they're new special projects that Google is taking a risk on.
Right, so they're providing money and our capital, we can say, and helping them to get going, basically. So they have a couple of co-authors here, and they insist that if you focus on a problem, you can look at different solutions and come up with a solution in 5 days. And there are certain steps they're talking about here.
Yeah, that's right. They do mention a number of different steps. They say it helps you focus on a problem, consider different solutions, choose one, obviously one solution, prototype the solution, and test it on customers. And prototype, of course, is one of our specialized terms for today.
Right, and usually we think of it as a noun, but here, how do we see it used, Linda?
It's used as a verb, so it's to make the first sample of something. So prototype as a noun is the first working model or version of something.
So you're going to choose one of these solutions, and then you're going to try to put it into, well, not try to, they're going to look at how putting it into practice and then testing it on customers.
Right.
Sometimes when we give a list of steps like this, if you are not a native English speaker, you find yourself focusing on the steps in the sentence. But in this sentence in particular, I think the focus is actually the very end there where they say in just 5 days. So the emphasis here is really on the speed of this process, how much you can accomplish in a short time. And I think that's interesting because of the name of the book and this article. The name is, of course, Sprint, which has a very special meaning.
Right, and it means a burst of speed or activity. And when we think of sprint in world of athletics, it's a short race that's done at a very fast speed. For example, the 100-meter race. The reigning sprinter happens to be a Jamaican, also in the women's and men's. Just want to add that, yeah, because, you know.
The same runner?
Well, no.
The women's and
two
men's.
champions.
Yeah, two champions.
Two champions.
Sorry. So just like prototype, sprint can be a verb or a noun.
Right. So actually that race is they call it a sprint. Mm-hmm. Okay. And they are sprinting.
Exactly.
So we look at the solution here. We should have a solution, or actually not even a solution. They should be trying it in 5 days. Usually when we are talking about customers' problems, sometimes, you can debate what you should do forever, And here they're talking about fast forwarding into the future to see the product and to see the solution and to get customer feedback. So that's the ultimate goal of the sprint process.
Yes, this process is all about efficiency, reducing the amount of time that's normally used to address a problem and come up with solutions. And each of these steps, this 5-step process, each step should take 1 day. So in the end, it'll be done in 5 days.
So people that are on these teams that they put together are really focusing on the issue here. And they say that they have used the sprint process, that's what they call it, has been applied hundreds of times for companies in which Google's venture capital arm has invested. And we're looking at venture capital here again. It's a specialized term. Simon, what does this mean?
Well, it's very similar to what we were saying when we talked about the name of the company, which was Google Ventures. So venture here is the same as there. It's something that's a little risky, similar to an adventure. And here specifically, capital refers to money. So venture capital is money you are investing in something new, maybe something that's a little risky. So you're investing in a new idea or kind of thing.
Right. And we see that they have used it on their own venture capital investments. And they, as Linda said earlier, they give a step-by-step guide to successful sprints. And so here we're seeing it used again as a noun. So they're calling this process, this 5-day process, a sprint. So let's take a look at the next section here, and we're going to start on Monday. This is when it all begins. So let's start reading in the middle of page 10, left-hand column.
Monday, when it all begins. On Monday, for example, the Sprint team, a small group with a multifunctional background, will map out the problem